Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tipsy Ghost. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsay.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hi.
It's been a while apparently since we've recorded because we forgot how to do this.
Over a month.
Over a month.
That's far too long.
Yes. So my kid has always had his special interests. It's been like sharks, dinosaurs, whales. Right now it's geography.
Oh.
So I'm going to give you guys a geography quiz to see if you're smarter than a third grader.
Ooh.
Okay, I can tell you the answer to that question, but I
Immediately
do
no.
love to try.
Okay. I already told him he's smarter than me because he's like labeling maps of like other continents in his free time.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know these things.
No.
He goes, you don't know where things are? I said, I could probably do the 50 states, but like, do I know where Paraguay is? No. I'm not going to make you do that. It's just questions.
Thank you.
And I will say, of these questions, he got every single one of them right.
Okay.
The spotlight is on. And you guys may collaborate. I will allow you to collaborate, but no
okay,
Googling.
Oh,
Okay.
That was my next question. Okay.
All right, so
Googling is cheating.
we'll have
I'm
a
sorry.
group answer.
It's being resourceful. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. What is the tallest mountain in the world?
Everest.
Is it?
I think so.
Are we sure?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah.
Is it Kilimanjaro?
You were so confident and just making me second guess everything.
Isn't Everest in Nepal? I think it's Everest, but
we can go with that. You
It
sound
is
confident.
Everest.
Oh, thank God.
It is Everest. Woo. What is the longest river in the world?
The Nile.
Okay, that was my guess in my head. I just want credit.
You can say it out loud.
Well, I don't want to be wrong.
Bonus points. Where is the Nile River located? What continent?
Egypt. Okay.
Africa.
There you go. Africa.
She added that later. She first.
You were right.
Egypt
you.
is in Africa, so you're both right here. Okay.
I just waited till the question was over.
What is the biggest country in the world? Can you
Russia.
sound confident?
It's Russia.
It's gotta be Russia.
It's
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have so much space for activities.
They do. They are in 2 continents. They're big. What are the names of the 5 oceans?
Oh,
Indian.
George.
George Ocean?
Peter Pacific. Adam Atlanta.
Atlantic, but okay. Atlanta is the city in
Atlanta
Georgia.
Ocean.
All right, so Atlantic, Pacific, Indian.
Ashley Antarctic.
Yes. It's technically the Arctic,
I was
but
going to say
yes.
Arctic. Okay, is that different than Antarctic?
I feel like I should know this.
It's the Southern Ocean.
That's
no.
not a thing.
No.
It's like
that added later than when we were in elementary school.
It's like if I say it's in the southern part of the hemisphere.
I probably still would have not.
Steven Southern Ocean.
Steven Southern Ocean. What planet is closest to the Earth?
Oh,
Which side?
yeah, that's dumb.
Mars?
Venus.
Well, Venus
Oh my
is
God, I
close.
said
That's
it
what
in
I'm
my
saying. Mercury,
head.
Venus, Earth, Mars.
You need
Damn
to
it.
say it out loud.
We
Boydston.
can't go to Venus. It's too hot.
What is the largest island in the world?
Technically, in my brain,
They're all islands.
They're all islands. Is it Australia,
Australia is a continent
or
and
is
a
it
country.
the island of Antarctica?
It's not a continent. Let me give that to you. It's not a continent.
How about the island of North America?
It is Greenland.
Oh, sure.
And fun fact, I
You know
learned
what?
Identifies an island versus
Greenland is not a country. I
It
learned
has to
this.
be surrounded by water on all
Yes.
sides.
It's not a country.
Which
It is a
why it's
territory.
Australia.
okay. But
We're all technically surrounded by water.
that's what I'm saying.
What is the biggest desert in the world?
Is it not the Sahara?
You need to say your thoughts out loud.
Sahara
Is it the
only one I
Sahara?
know.
It is the
Desert?
Sahara.
Oh my God.
Yes.
God.
Which country has the largest population in the world?
China.
That is right.
China.
Yes. I'm getting more confident.
All right, let's go to the U.S.
Okay.
Which
Cool.
river is the longest in the U.S.? I will give you a hint. It is not what I thought it was.
Okay.
He got me wrong on this one.
Do you know other rivers besides
The mighty Mississippi.
the mighty Mississippi?
Do you know
The
other
Colorado
rivers?
River.
How about that or the Missouri River?
It is the Missouri River.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Look at that. He told me that, and I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's the Mississippi. We Googled it. It's the Missouri River.
Okay. Well, fun fact to know.
Fun fact to know.
Fun fact, I know 3 rivers.
That was all I knew.
Which country has the most volcanoes?
Okay, so is it the United States?
It's not in the U.S. It is Indonesia.
I've never been there. I don't know.
I've never been there either. All right. 7 continents.
Mm-hmm.
Largest to smallest. Can you rank them?
No.
Asia,
Asia is first. That's right.
Africa.
Uh-huh.
Please keep going. I'm impressed.
You're doing good. You've got the first 2.
Thank you. North America, South America.
Yeah. You've got 3 left. You can do it. Help out.
India.
India is Asia. It's not a continent.
This is why I'm not helping out.
I thought.
It's a large country. Thank you.
It is a large
It
country.
is.
That's why
It
Asia
should
is
be
part
its
of the
own
biggest continent.
Antarctica.
Okay.
Then Europe.
And then Australia.
Australia is the smallest. Good job.
Australia is both a continent and a country.
I stand behind India.
Okay, so we know Russia's the biggest country.
Yeah.
What's the smallest country in the world?
Oh my God.
This
There's so
one's
many
gonna-
little ones.
It's going to throw you for a loop. It's one you've heard of, where someone very famous in the world lives to a certain faith.
the Vatican.
Yes. Vatican City is a country.
Okay.
Fun fact, I did not know that Vatican City was a country.
I did. I've watched, what's that? There was a girl that went missing.
I knew it was like separate from Italy, but I didn't know that it was like considered its own country. I thought it was like Washington, D.C. It's its own
Did not
city.
know. Your clue helped.
Thank you. What is the largest ocean?
Pacific.
Didn't we
Good
cover
job.
this already?
It is the Pacific.
Okay.
We have not ranked them by size.
Oh, okay.
We just
For your
named them.
input.
Which,
Peter Pacific.
which continent has the most countries?
Don't ask me, truthfully. Okay. I'm going to say Europe or Africa.
It is Africa.
Nailed it. Good
And
job.
I asked Owen, I said, how many countries does Africa have? And he said 54. So I asked him to rank the 10 biggest states in the U.S., which he did. I won't ask you guys to do that.
Thank you.
And then he ranked
feel
the
like I can
5
do that.
smallest. All right, you want to do the 10 biggest?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Did it have to be in order?
Well, yes, from biggest to smallest.
Is it
California.
Alaska or
Oh.
Texas? Alaska.
California.
Alaska is number 1.
Texas.
Yep.
California.
Yep. Good job. You have the top 3.
Florida.
No.
No, it's gonna be like
Florida.
You gotta think of
Montana or something.
Montana's
Ooh,
number
yeah.
4.
Montana's good.
Yeah.
Think of the
I-
land masses, yes.
I know it's not Hawaii or Rhode Island.
I feel like the Dakotas are pretty big.
Is it a Dakota? Is it
It's a state I just came back from.
Arizona? Where did you go?
You were in New Mexico and Colorado.
New Mexico,
That's 5.
then Arizona, you said it, and then Nevada, Colorado, Oregon, Wyoming.
So
Those are all
not
about the
Florida.
same size.
So where is Kansas in the size? Do you guys know?
Middle. The middle
On the
of
map,
the road.
they all look like the same size.
Especially right in the middle. They're all like some version of a bad square.
Yes. Some are a rectangle, but
We are Kansas is a pretty solid rectangle. We are number 15.
Mm.
In Missouri.
I was like, well, I'm in Missouri.
You're in Missouri. So Missouri is number 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
Okay. So that goes to show we are not smarter than a third grader.
I'm
when it
sorry. I
comes to
thought we did
geography.
pretty good.
He did do pretty good. Do you want to do the 5 smallest states? He did those too.
Okay. Rhode Island.
Yes.
Like the Delaware.
Delaware is number 2. Connecticut's number 3.
Okay. Vermont.
Jersey, maybe?
New Jersey's number 4. Good job, Sarah.
I have said good things too.
Yeah. All right,
Just
give
not
me
as good
number
as mine.
5.
Is it not Vermont?
It's not Vermont.
What else is up there?
Massachusetts.
Might be
Is it
Mass.
over in the New England?
It is over on that side, yes.
New Hampshire?
Maryland.
New Hampshire. Good
Nailed it.
job. All that History Channel pays off.
Yes. I don't remember watching history about the states, but I love trivia. I may not always be right, but I like it.
You know, I got enough of those right that I feel good about myself.
You both did really good. You did better than I did.
Thank
So that is one of my New Year's resolution is that I need to apparently become more educated so I don't sound so dumb next to my kid.
No, I think we ought to just keep doing trivia and then you'll learn
Okay.
things
then I'll
like
learn.
that.
What are you guys' resolutions?
You know, I think I'm going to try to go through my house room by room and get rid of a bunch of extra crap. That is my resolution. And to maybe finish up some projects that I've started that I haven't finished.
So that is a good resolution. I like that.
Thank you.
What is
about
your
you?
resolution?
Oh, I would like to go through my Photos app in my phone and cut it somewhere below 20,000.
Wow.
What is it at now?
It's around 20,000.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you don't have that far to go.
Okay, I'll put a number to it. I'd like to get it down to 13,000
Ooh.
or less.
New year, new goals.
New year, new goals.
What-
How about you?
What's your resolution?
So actually, 2024 was kind of a rough year for me. I'm a little burnt out. I wasn't sleeping well, which you guys know that because night shift, and that's just how I am. And I was relying heavily on caffeine to keep me awake during the day. And because I wasn't sleeping, my diet wasn't the best. I rarely felt like exercising, and I was constantly stressed.
It sounds like this year you should focus on your mental wealth.
What does that mean?
It means investing in yourself, focusing on improving sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and being mindful of the things you put in your body. Basically, invest in yourself now, set up long-term habits that will help you be your best self in the future.
That's where Magic Mind comes in. They now offer 2 products that work together to provide 24 hours of mental performance.
Our favorite Magic Mind mental performance shot and their new sleep elixir. Combine the 2 and you get better sleep and better focus throughout the day.
So I've been able to use both shots for about 3 days now, and I can already notice a difference. I just feel better overall.
And that's why we are delighted to offer you a discount on a bundle that includes both the focus and the sleep shots for 45% off using our link. Get 45% off the Magic Mind bundle with our link magicmind.com/tipsyghostjan.
That's magicmind.com/tipsyghostjan.
Okay, so I have a story for you guys.
Ooh.
What is it?
And I have a PowerPoint for you as well.
Oh my gosh. Look at
Wow.
you. Who are you?
Look at me.
New year, new you.
So one of my lovely gifts for Christmas was a map of national parks that you can scratch off.
Yes.
Oh,
it
wow.
was.
Yes.
I was listening thinking, oh, wow. What gift did you get?
That would be such a great idea.
Who gave you that?
Oh my gosh.
Because me and my husband, we want to go to all the national parks, and I am presenting to you a story of a national park that is haunted.
Okay,
Oh my
first
God.
question. Have you been to this national park?
I have not, but I really want to.
Second question is not a question, it's a statement. I got her that map. It's a scratch-off map.
She did give me that map. Well, we are going to Kentucky,
Oh.
Oh, Kentucky, huh?
and we are
Haunted
going to
Kentucky.
Mammoth Cave National Park.
I love caves.
It is a spooky, ooky cave.
Ooh, spooky and ooky.
As titled.
It is a national park that is in south central Kentucky and is known to be the longest known cave system in the world. I say known because it's
Obviously,
of
there's
what we have explored. I'm sure there are caves that have not been explored.
gonna just put that right there in your brain. So when that comes up on another,
On another trivia. But this is fascinating to me because I feel like we are such a young country, and to have the longest cave system out of everywhere, it's
In
in
the
Kentucky.
world?
In the world, it's in Kentucky.
I mean, we're young as a country, but
yes, our
the
land is not
land-
young. That's true. I'm not going to get into a ton of facts about the cave because there's
Aw.
too much. But I will say
womp womp.
it's got thick.
I love cave facts.
Okay, I'll give you some. It's got thick Mississippian aged limestone.
That sounds like a rub on the beef, like a beef rub. Thick Mississippi
Limestone.
A rub on the
Mississippian
beef.
Aged limestone.
limestone.
It's a spooky stone.
What? Oh, you're talking about like a flavor rub.
Beef.
I think
Like a dry rub.
of the beef. I was like, is that a saying I'm not aware of? A rub on the beef?
In the grill world, it is.
What's happening? How do we get to rubbing beef?
Is dinner ready? No, I've got to rub the beef.
I've got to go rub one out on the beef.
Nope. That's not the saying.
I don't think yours is a saying either.
It is now. Yours is not. Rub one out on the beef. Who are you? Have you breathed? Are you okay? All I hear is wheeze and no
I don't think
inhale.
Sarah's okay. She might need tissue.
So gross.
I said Mississippian aged limestone, and this happened.
It is the aged. The
It was the
aged
first
got me.
sentence.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Has nothing to do with beef. I understand now.
So they have the limestone, and then it has sandstone on top of it, which basically means it's incredibly stable for a cave. It's not going to cave in.
Ba-dum.
It's already caved in.
Did you write that down?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
I can think on the fly.
That makes one of us.
It is known to have more than 400 miles of passages. However, we are adding to that every year as they continue to explore.
I will not be one of those explorers.
400 miles is crazy to me. All underground. All right, so the upper section is known as Big Clifty Sandstone.
Aww. Big Clifty.
The layers below Big Clifty
Small Clifty.
are the Gherkin Formation,
Oh.
the
That's where you rub one out on the beef.
Genevieve
Formation.
Limestone, In the St. Louis limestone.
Sure, St. Louis.
So the large main cave
I told you this was
passage-
about barbecue.
Yes, it is. At St. Louis. I mean, the large main cave passage seen on the tour is located at the bottom of the Gherkin and the top of the Genevieve Formation. There's several entrances because, like we said, there's 400 miles of this cave. So there's several entrances, but that is the main one.
Is this the cave you walk through?
Yes.
Or is this like Fantastic Caverns? You can drive.
You can't drive.
Yeah.
So at one valley bottom in the southern region of the park, a massive sinkhole did develop, which is known as Cedar Sink. It featured a small river that goes underground and measures 300 feet down and has a bottom area of 7 acres.
That's a large bottom area.
Human activity in Mammoth Cave traces back 5,000 years. Several sets of Native American remains have been discovered in the cave. Most were mummies with examples of intentional burial. These burials had evidence of pre-Columbian funeral practices, so before
Columbus.
Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
Oh.
Everything is now a trivia question.
It
I
is
appreciate that.
estimated that the earliest manufact dates back to 445 BC. But they have also found shark teeth fossils dating back thousands of years.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your theory?
As far as what?
Sharks in the cave?
How did the sharks get there? Was that land not there and it was a big ocean and then over time land?
It could be because there's lots of rivers in this cave.
Mhm.
So it could be that it might have all been underwater at some point for all we know. All right. So the earliest history dates back to 1791 when the 31,000 acres known as the Pollard Survey was sold in Philadelphia by William Pollard. Almost 20,000 of these acres were bought by Thomas Lane Jr., who was a British-American merchant from Yorkshire, on June 3rd, 1796, and then the land was lost to local county tax claim during the War of 1812. So supposedly the first European to enter Mammoth Cave was John Hushen and his brother Francis in 1797. They were hunting and found a bear that they were pursuing, and the bear went into the cave, and that's how they found it.
I'm sorry. They followed a bear into a cave?
They were hunting the bear.
It's bear pursuit.
Yeah, they were pursuing the bear.
That
I don't know if they
feels
went.
very dangerous.
I don't know if they went inside the cave, but that's how they found the cave, like
Okay.
the entrance. Yes.
All right. I'll allow it.
Okay. The land containing this entrance was first surveyed and registered in 1798 under the name of Valentine Simmons, and he began exploiting the cave for its saltpeter reserves because that's potassium nitrate. Apparently that was very popular back then. So the cave switched hands for ownership over the years, but ultimately in the 19th century it became an international sensation when it would attract writers and famous actors. So, fun facts. The cave is at a constant 54 degrees.
That is a fun fact.
It is chilly.
It is very chilly. One owner, Dr. John Croghan, ran a tuberculosis hospital in the cave from 1842 to 1843.
Okay, why did he think that was a great spot?
I will tell you.
Thank you.
It's cool.
He bought the cave for $10,000 at the time in 1839, which is about $339,000.
So
Thank
you
you.
can't have fevers.
So I thought the same thing because I was like, wasn't sunshine supposed to be the most important thing for TB? And he thought that the air in the cave, because it was a constant controlled temperature, would cure them.
Hmm.
And not really fun fact, but just ironic fact, he died of tuberculosis in 1849.
That is not a fun fact.
A lot of those tuberculosis doctors did.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. He built 11 huts inside the cavern and moved 15 patients in, and 2 patients died within the first year, but all 15 of them got worse. You can still see what they call the consumptive cabins.
Ooh.
And that's in quotes. When touring the cave, and there is even a slab of stone outside the cabins where they would place the dead patients before they would remove them from the cave, and it's called Corpse Rock.
Aw.
Fitting.
When he bought
Seems
this
appropriate.
cave, he used, at the time, slaves to navigate the cave system for him, and one of them was named Stephen Bishop, and he actually named several of the areas in the cave that are still used today because he discovered more than 20 miles of passages by himself.
Way to go, Stephen.
Mm-hmm. And he found a new species of fish, a blind albino fish, in the underground Echo River.
Okay.
It is blind because it has no eyes.
And it's an albino fish.
That was the least
By
of my
default.
worries.
Can you imagine you're exploring a dark cave by yourself and you find that fish in a river?
You know, I almost feel bad
Is
for
that
it.
its little eye?
It looks like it's not done developing.
Forgot.
Like almost like see-through. It's very like light pink. I have a couple more fun facts.
Thank God.
Edwin Booth, who was a famous actor and also the brother of John Wilkes Booth, visited the cave, and they had a chamber that is known as Booth's Amphitheater.
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 I can't say the word. Amphitheater. In the 20th century, Floyd Collins, he spent 10 years exploring the cave system and eventually died in the cave in 1925 when a rock
Hang on. Who did John Wilkes Booth kill?
Lincoln.
Abe
In
Lincoln.
a theater.
In a theater.
And his brother was an actor.
Yes.
Who was famous.
So was John.
And his brother has a amphitheater.
That's named Booth's,
Yes.
which
Ooh.
to me that seems kind of
Somebody-
weird.
Which they should have put his first name in there.
Yes, because
Or
you
just
shared the
called it.
last name of someone who killed one of the
Yes.
best presidents.
In a theater.
Yeah.
That seems like poor taste.
I know. All right. So Floyd Collins, he died in the cave in 1925 when a rock dislodged onto his leg while he was in a tight crawlway.
What a weird way to say that. A rock dislodged onto his leg. It fell.
Well, he
It
was like
trapped him.
he was in a very tight space, like crawling on his
Got
belly, basically, and a rock trapped him in there.
Oh
So
my God.
he was unable to be rescued and eventually died of starvation after 2 weeks of failed rescue attempts.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
That is a terrible way to go.
Yeah. It was a mass media sensation, obviously, but this helped initiate a movement to result in the formation of the national park, and it was dedicated on July 1st, 1941 as a national park. Do you want to hear why people think it's haunted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
So it is considered the most haunted.
Is it the fish?
It's not the fish. I just thought they were fun.
I was going to guess the TB patients, but
That is part of it. It is considered the most haunted natural wonder in the world, with over 150 documented paranormal experiences in this cave. So reports of old tuberculosis patients,
checks out.
obviously. There is supposedly a river monster in the Green River.
It's the
where
fish.
he is.
See, we were both right.
Yeah.
Tourists report seeing people walking around in old period clothing.
Oh, I love period clothing.
How do you feel about old period clothing?
You know,
I wish there was a
as
synonym that I could find for period clothing.
Clothing of the time.
Outdated. So, from the consumptive cabins, people report hearing coughing coming from inside. Park rangers report seeing Stephen Bishop returning to the cave from time to time.
Holding a fish.
Look what I found.
He is buried in the cemetery that is closest to the cave.
Oh, fun.
So, they buried him next to the
I
cave
do
that
want to
he
know how
explored.
big that fish is. I couldn't quite gauge based on the picture.
That's true. I don't know how big it is.
The average
It's
is
probably
5
like this.
inches.
Air quotes. He's
Should have left the
average.
fish out. Should have left the fish out. But he says he's bigger
Closer
than he
to
is.
3. They all do.
Park rangers also report feeling pushed and hearing footsteps when they are investigating the caverns. But one of the main reasons why people believe that this cave is haunted is because the large amount of mummies that have been found in this cave.
I love
What?
that.
One of the most renowned mummies ever found in Mammoth Cave is Von Hoof mummy, and she is a key factor in why this cave has global recognition. So in 1811, there was a miner who was digging in the cave. He went to strike the ground with a wooden shovel and felt a soft, dull thud versus like a louder, hollow ring that he was used to. So he started excavating around, trying to find it, and found a 4x4 foot crypt underneath the rock. And resting within the crypt was the preserved body of Von Hoof. She was seated upright and was remarkably preserved. Her hands and arms were folded and wrapped with a small cord, suggested that this was done intentionally. They positioned her at the time of her entombment. She had 2 deer skins that were embellished with imprints of vines and leaves draped over her body, and her dark red hair was cut to within 1/8 of an inch, and her teeth were white and, they said, in perfect symmetry. There were evidence of 2 wounds. One was between her ribs near her backbone, and she had an injured eye. Her skin was dark and hardened to her bones, and her weight revealed she was 14 pounds and thought to be about 5'10", which they said was pretty uncommon at that time for a woman to be that tall. And in the tomb were moccasins, a knapsack, and another bag that was made from inner tree bark fibers. So within this knapsack, they found more ancient artifacts that included a woven head cap, 7 ornate headdresses that were crafted from bird feathers, and also a necklace, an eagle claw pendant. The necklace had red fawn hoofs.
There you go.
There it is.
Found it.
Okay. She had a bear jaw
Like that.
pendant, so she had all of this jewelry in there as well. So recognizing that this was pretty significant, the manager went to move the mummy and the cave himself. This was before it was a national park, but I feel like you should probably have called somebody.
I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yes. So in an effort to capitalize on this discovery, the owners and the managers of the cave started exhibiting. Basically, they put her on display. They're like, come look at her. Look at what we found. And it was a smash hit. Visitors from all over the country came in and made this cave famous. Eventually, she was moved to another passage that is now known as the Haunted Chamber. And she was placed on a ledge near the entrance of the passage. It is still known as Mummy's Seat. You can see the ledge, but obviously she is no longer there. She's been moved to safekeeping. Next, we have Scudder Mummy. Scudder Mummy was found in 1814, and it was 2 mummies that were found side by side. One of them was identified as a male, the other was a female, and they were both, again, remarkably well preserved and found resting in a squatting position. The male mummy was believed to be under the age of 14 at the time of his death.
Okay, so if these mummies are kneeling, or like if their legs are bent up, I feel like that would make it difficult for them to run after you if they came alive in the cave.
Or they're just better at hiding first and then they stretch out.
Okay.
Or maybe that's how maybe that was their burial practices.
Yeah.
So the
It's
male...
I
probably
get that,
realistic.
but like,
Yeah.
you know, when they come alive, their
Like in
joints might be a
Scooby-Doo.
little achy.
The male mummy exhibited a 2-inch long fracture directly above the cerebellum, which they believe was the cause of death there.
I bet.
In 1814, the male mummy and his wardrobe, so what he was dressed in, what he was found in, was sent to New York. And eventually, P.T. Barnum got a hold of this.
Of the Barnum and Bailey.
Yes. So he got a hold of this mummy. It was placed in a museum, and he bought the museum, which means he got the mummy. So eventually, or unfortunately for the female mummy, there is not very much historical record left on her. They said that she had a rifle ball-sized wound hole in her thorax.
It's a very weird way to word that. but-
Ball-sized, so like a rifle ball. Like,
yeah.
Like a bullet.
yes. She was...
Rifle ball.
So that's probably why she died.
Okay.
I'd be willing to say.
That is not a good place for a rifle ball.
But she was sent to an unknown location. So we don't know really what happened to her. Some people say she went to this museum, but that museum burnt down, so we can't really trace it and know what happened. Oh, and the male mummy, Barnum's museum that he bought, was destroyed by fire, and the mummy was lost.
You know what? I feel like there's a curse.
Mm-hmm.
The Curse of the Mummies.
Next, we have Little Alice.
Aww.
All right, Little Alice is one of the most famous ones. So, 1875, one of the owners of the cave claimed that he had found a new mummy within the cave and said that it was a female, and found her lying on her left side in a sleeping posture with her left arm resting on the ground but missing her left hand. And she was about 4'5" when they found her.
I'm sorry. Why did you look at me?
I didn't. I was just looking. Oh my gosh. For about 15 years, the mummy remained on exhibit in the cave and was closely guarded, but around 1890 it was sold. In the years that followed, the mummy continued to be exhibited at Mammoth Cave, but then it got moved to a barn. In 1922, she came back to the main entrance of the cave and was displayed as, quote, the Lady of the Cave. And she remained there until 1931, when eventually the National Park Commission came through. She was showcased in a small museum that was still located within the cave until the 1950s, when she retired from public display. So she has been traveled all over. She is now located in the University of Kentucky's anthropology department. It was in 1958, 83 years after she was discovered, that she had her first detailed anthropological examination.
Wow.
Took that long
It took a while.
for people to be like, hey, let's investigate her.
Hey, let's not look at her. Let's see what she's about.
During this exam,
Take her out of the barn.
take her out of the barn. Let's bring her to some professionals.
Yes.
Poor little Alice.
During this exam, Dr. Louise Robbins revealed that little Alice had likely lived during the 1st century AD.
Wow.
And shockingly, little Alice was a he.
Oh.
Little Alec.
Okay.
From that point forward,
Alex.
little Alice is now known as Little Al.
That's cute.
The last mummy is called Lost John.
Okay.
And Lost John is,
What's happening?
I think, the most well-preserved one. All right, on June 7th, 1935, experienced cave guides were exploring the cave and going through and discovered a ledge 20 feet above the floor, which is about 70 feet south of Waldack Dome. This ledge had previously been unexamined, but they noticed something on this ledge.
A body.
Lost John.
They were astonished to find the protruding head of
Can
a
you
mummified miner that was
imagine?
half buried in the sand.
Just seeing this face looking at you.
What they
Been
think
mesmerized.
happened to John was that he was basically trapped under a boulder and it pinned his chest and his neck and his hips. So his head and legs were protruding from the sides. So this was estimated that this happened in the 4th century BC. So because this is the most recent mummy, it was found in 1935, it was handled the best. Let me say that. The people who found him alerted the National Park Service in Washington, D.C. right away and then didn't tell anybody. Like they didn't want the news and the media to pounce on it. So they
Smart.
kept quiet
Yeah.
until the experts arrived. They sent archaeologists from the National Park Service and anthropologists as well. And they were able to raise the 6-ton boulder that was covering Little John. And then they removed the sand from around his head, his shoulder, and his arm. And even though he was partly crushed and fractured, the body was remarkably well preserved. So upon inspection, it was established that he was male, approximately 45 years old at his time of death, and was about 5'3". Only 2 items were found in his possession besides his clothes, which was a polished mussel shell in a woven bag. A raised platform was built to allow visitors to go up and see him, all while he was being uncovered without disrupting the archaeological work that was being done on him. So Lost John was then placed in a glass display case, and he was exhibited in the cave near Giant's Coffin where visitors could look at him. After 12 months of being showcased, though, he began to accumulate fungus, and they were worried that he was going to start deteriorating. So in 1936, archaeologists and members of the National Park Service met in Washington, D.C. to decide how to better preserve him, and ultimately opted to store him in a synthetic fiber bag with silica gel to absorb any of the moisture, because they considered that this was the most significant archaeological discovery in the United States east of the Mississippi, because of how old he was.
Really? Oh, okay.
So initial estimates at that time, they thought he was about 500 years old, but radiocarbon dating efforts in the years have revealed that he is at least 2,400 years old.
That's pretty old.
It's pretty old, especially for being crushed with a boulder.
They finally found good use for those
That
stupid
is
silica packets.
before Christ.
Yes.
So in 1976, with the enactment of federal laws prohibiting the display of Native American remains, Lost John was relocated and he is buried in close proximity to the original discovery site. Which, I mean, a lot of the mummies that were found, they kept them in the cave and displayed them, which seems inhumane, but also they didn't have the technology we do now. They probably would have disintegrated as soon as they came up into the air. But now, yes, Little John has been buried.
It's Lost John. I knew you kept saying
Little John. Gosh, Lost John, you're right. He is little. He was 5'3".
Big John, Little John.
Oh, I was thinking
Okay.
Robin Hood. You went.
I was too.
little
I started
way.
singing Robin Hood.
Yes. You went with rap.
Little John. Got it.
Oh,
You
that
said
Little John.
you said little.
Yes.
Little John would have done it for me.
You had to abbreviate.
Well, I
So
tried.
there have been 6 or 7 mummies found in Mammoth Cave, and people think she's haunted.
I bet there's more.
I bet there's so much more.
Well, safe to say I won't be visiting that one, I don't think, with
Okay.
my family.
That is not on the short list for vacation.
I mean,
No.
honestly, as soon as I said cave, I knew you wouldn't. Bats.
No.
I'd
no.
go.
I would go see it 100%.
I like caves.
You can take a lantern tour, and that's the ghost tour. Like you take little lanterns and they tell you all the spooky
Oh,
stories.
cute. Are they gas lanterns? Are they just candles?
I don't know.
I bet they're like electric or not, like battery powered camping lanterns,
Mhm.
which is disappointing, but
LED
I
flickering
understand.
lights.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'll have FOMO, so I'm going to have to go, but I will have to probably have a few drinks before I go.
Listen, there's a couple places in Kentucky we want to hit up anyway,
Yes.
so I don't know where everything is in relation to it, but we'll figure it out.
It's in Kentucky.
It's
We're
in
gonna
the
road
state.
trip the whole state.
Can't be that big, right, Kentucky? Just kidding.
It's not in the top 10.
It's not in the top 10. My kid would tell you that. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in this week to our paranormal episode. You can always find us at thetipsyghost.com with our socials linked from there, or send us an email at thetipsyghost@gmail.com.
Don't forget you can get 45% off the Magic Mind bundle with our link, magicmind.com/tipsyghostjan or TIPSYGHOSTJAN. Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it really does help.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.